So here's the thing. Everybody wants different results, but they don't want to do anything different. So one of the quotes I like to start off with, which is a Stephen Covey quote. I think he wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it says, if you want what you got, keep doing what you're doing. You're supposed to find something new for the client. You're supposed to tell them something they didn't know. That's it. So I always feel like this is the case. You're looking for gaps between what they want and what they're getting. So their desire and the results, or what their customers want and not getting. So I'm always looking for a gap. I'm looking for a problem to solve. So if you say like, who are your customers? That's an okay question. But if you ask the question of who are the customers you'd like to have more of and why aren't you getting them? You see the frame of that question highlights a problem immediately, because most people will just tell you the customers they already have. And then we get into that. So what we want to do is highlight a gap. There's a guy, he wrote this book. His name is Dan Sullivan, and he has this thing called the Dan Sullivan question. So here goes the question. If we were having this discussion 3 years from today, and you were looking back over those 3 years, what has to have happened in your life, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress? So the first part of this question is, if we're having this discussion, that means that we're working together. It's assume a positive future state between you and I. And this is before we've even agreed to work together. So I'm kind of planting a seed in the client's mind. So 3 years from now is a finite period of time to look forward into the future where you can have some clarity, but you have to do a little bit of projecting into the future. And it's a great place to be. It's not 1 year from now. It's not 30 years from now, because that's too far off in the distance for us to figure out. So 3 years. Now, the cool part about that is when we look forward, we forget about all our problems today. Like we forget about our supply chain management, our lead generation, or our executive team who's not quite delivering. So it puts us in a positive future state of mind for us to dream a little bit. And now when we're looking back, it's asking the prospective client to kind of figure out how they got there. Okay, so it's pretty cool. So from where I'm at, I've got a lot of problems. I'm going to ask you to look forward into the future about what your life looks like. Now that you know where you're going 3 years, if you look back on your own life, what has happened? I've scaled my team. I've been able to charge this amount. These things have happened. I'm now married. I have 2 kids. I live in Malibu. Whatever it is, this has happened now. The other part to the question is, it doesn't just talk about personally and professionally. So this opens up the ideas way beyond what it is that you, designer person, can do for this person.
Want to equip yourself with the right community, training, and resources to take your business to the next level? I want to personally invite you to check out the Futur Pro Group and our membership, specifically created for experienced business owners ready to scale.
He says there are 3 types of people who will answer this question. The first type of person who answers this question, he calls the user, which is pretty much everybody that has this question asked. They kind of know, and they give him a substantial answer, and they'll talk for 10, 15, sometimes 30 minutes. So that's who he wants to work with. He wants to work with the user. Then he's going to talk to a person who is a confuser. So if you don't have clarity on your own freaking goals, he's like, I'm out of here. Okay. Then he has the refuser who sees the question coming and says, I don't want to answer your question. And he also says to them, goodbye. That's it. Now he says, there's something interesting has happened. He says, basically, when I come to work with you, you only get 1 shot with me. If I ask you this question, you're either a user, a confuser, or a refuser. And if you're either a confuser or refuser, you don't get a second shot. Okay, so when you're sitting there thinking, I've been trained on how to design, I make great brand identities, I know how to write copy, I know how to develop front end, back end, I'm a full stack developer. When it comes to these other problems, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's okay, because the person you're talking to most likely already has all the answers. All you have to do is ask the right question. That's why I'm not afraid of the scope list that comes out, because I know either I know somebody who can help or the client already has the answer. Because guess what? As quick of a learner as I am, as much as I believe in my ability to learn, I can never learn more about you and your life and your business than you could ever, forget, right? You'll forget more than I hope to learn. So for me to come in and like, you must do this, you must do that, it's really pompous and arrogant of me to say that, especially because I don't have to live with the decisions that you make. I don't have to live with the advice that I'm about to give you. So his mentality, and most consultants think the same way, is all I want to do is ask you the right question. That's the skill. Listen, help you check whether or not you're being consistent with yourself, and to help you unearth whatever problem is that's in front of you. So why we do these things where we put ourselves down or put somebody else up, I do not know. The gap is clear. It's much smaller than you think. But what you have to do is you have to put thought into action. Everybody wants something they don't have, but they're not willing to do what they haven't done. That's what you need to do.